I wanted to go ahead and make a quick video to show you a little bit better how to understand what your explanation of benefits, or your EOB, is really telling, so that when it comes in the mail, it makes a little bit of sense and you know what it means. I've pulled up a sample explanation of benefits, or an EOB, for you here, and I want you to, we'll go first through the column headers. What you see here, the CPT code, those are the procedure codes. Insurances just require that we use a code for every procedure that we do, any kind of exercises or balance treatments or manual therapies, etc. Any type of treatment has its own code, and that's uniform across insurance companies. So for this one, it's therapeutic activities. This one's neuromuscular reeducation or balance training, and this one is manual therapies. Next column, you'll see modifiers. That tells the insurance companies a couple of different things. First, GP tells them that a physical therapist performed the treatment. KX means that we've met a certain Medicare threshold for visits and billing, and 59 just tells them that a couple of different procedures have been done on the same day. None of these really make a difference in increasing or decreasing any billing. It's just communication to the payer as far as what was actually done in the clinic, without having to go through all of the documentation for the visit. Third column is billed. This is really not a real number. What these are the numbers in the fee schedule. The general advice when somebody is setting up any healthcare business is to set the fee schedule for each of these codes, and that's what it's based on. Each of these codes is set at about 2.5 times what Medicare pays. Medicare publishes what they will pay for these codes. It's not negotiable. You take it or leave it. The general advice is to set your fee schedule at about 2.5 times what that rate is, just to be able to capture the entirety of payable expenses for really any payer. The bottom line, though, is that this billed amount is almost never what is seen by your actual provider. And you can see that when we look at the next column, not allowed. This is the amount of this code that's not allowed. And you can see over here why. CO45, we can look down. It means that it exceeds the fee schedule maximum allowable, and it was reduced as a result. So you can see how much it was reduced by here, and ultimately what is allowed for this service. So this is the allowed amount for the service, which is generally this minus this. And this top number here, this is the amount that wasn't allowed. CO253 is sequestration. So that just based on federal regulations, they knock another 2% off. And then PR2 is the patient's responsibility, essentially the co-insurance amount. And we'll see that a little bit later on here in this column. But as a result, this is the 3249 is what's allowed for this code. And ultimately, when we look at the bottom line, what's allowed for this visit. PR means patient responsibility. So for this case, there is no patient responsibility attributable. In this case, the patient's responsibility amount was sent to the co-insurance, was sent to a secondary payer. So nothing was charged ultimately to the patient on this case. So deductible is, if your insurance has a deductible, it'll go here, which is ultimately the responsibility of the patient. But it's attributed to the deductible, so that when you meet it, there's just accounting for that. And when you meet that deductible, the ultimate payment amount is reduced, usually. So the co-insurance amount is usually a percentage. It's usually co-insurance or co-payment. Co-insurance is a percentage. So with Medicare, in this case, it's at 20% of the allowed amount. Ultimately, you can see down here that the co-insurance amount of $1936 is 20% of the allowed amount, $95.27. So this is what will either be paid by the patient if there's not a secondary insurance, or billed to the secondary insurance. And the provider paid is the allowed amount minus any patient's responsibility amounts. So this is the amount that the insurance actually paid here. So in this case, Medicare paid $75.91 for the visit. The 1936 remains collectible by either the secondary insurance in this case, or the patient in the case that there is no secondary insurance. But the big deal and the highlights here are here. This billed amount is not real dollars. It's usually a fictional amount that gets adjusted by the insurance company to ultimately allow a certain amount of charges for the code. It's further, the insurance company's responsibility is further reduced by patient responsibilities, deductibles, co-payments, and co-insurances. And ultimately, you can see what the provider was paid by the insurance company. And any patient's responsibility is listed down here under patient's responsibility, deductible, or co-insurance, co-payment. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. You can email us here at admin, at origin-rehab.com, or send us a text at 905-1333. So the area code is 704-905-1333. Thank you so much.